Meet me on the softer side. Meet me on the softer side. Softer side of your heart.
Hi there, and welcome to the Skylight Books author reading series. You can find out about this and all of our other author events at www.skylightbooks.com, where you can also browse our inventory as well as order books online. You can also follow us on Twitter or even be our friend at facebook.com. If you'd like to talk to a real person, we can be reached at 323-660-1175. And don't forget, Skylight Books depends on listeners like you to help support us. So whether you're in our neighborhood or browsing online, buy a book or two to help ensure that we'll be around for a long, long time. Thanks and enjoy.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Tisa Bryant.
Thanks, Noel. Wow, it's a great crowd. It's wonderful to see you all here to celebrate Douglas Kearney's new book, PATTER, which you've seen it. It's beautiful. There's lots of them back there. And when you purchase this, of course, you support an independent artist and an independent bookstore. So that's where your money is going. There's no real middlemen here. So please, it's a great gift. Give it to people. Teach it. Buy it. I'm also Douglas's colleague at CalArts. Our offices are across from each other, and he's on creative leave this semester, which is wonderful for him and a little sad because we miss him, and he's fun. I don't know how that sounded, but I'm just going to read. I'm going to stick to my text here. Okay, so it's a treat to be with you. I already said that. In preparing to do a brief introduction to Doug's reading and to the book, there were a number of words that I crossed out: courageous, brave, dynamic, energetic, and brash. Not because they aren't germane to Douglas's work or aren't true to his performing self, but because they're easy to say. PATTER is a book about what is not easy to say, about life, about love, about one's body or of the beloved's, about failure or faith, grief, and isolation within it, much less the thing that poetry is supposed to promise: empathy. Empathy between bodies, of flesh, of text. I remember one of my first responses to these poems in draft form, that this is a challenge to my feminism. I felt territorial and defensive of women's bodies, this woman's body here in the text, and the one that I know. And yet I knew I was in the presence with these poems of what often remains unsaid by husbands, lovers, and fathers about miscarriage, the bloody life loss, the devastation of confidence and privacy, the spectacular silence among men, as if the word howl in this context is suddenly and only accessible in the poetic feminine, becomes shriek, becomes moan. And I guess I just wanted to be sure the shrieks and moans were his. In being honored to read these poems as they came to be, I had to sit with myself and with Doug in ways I hadn't quite before to know the truth of how his moans and shrieks are here. The tremendous fortitude and risk of making life and making writing about that life, not as object or subject, but as love. I felt the risk and was and am alternately proud and afraid for him, which means he's on point. So my defensive, "Man, you can't write this," became emphatically, "Brother, you must." And he did, was going to anyway, no matter what. And that is the gift among many we get from Douglas Kearney. So please join me in welcoming him to the mic.
See, I was like, Tisa, will you introduce it? Because no, she really was a big part of the process of writing these poems. I'm gonna thank a few people before I start, because I have a tendency to get so involved in what I'm doing that I forget to act like I have some home training. So, first, thank you all for coming out here tonight, Thursday night. I really appreciate this support, and I hope to earn you buying the book tonight. I really do. But even if you're not here to do that, thank you for being here, because this book, it took a lot to make this book. And so I'm glad that you're all here. I'd also like to thank Hen Press, who published my first book in 2006, Fearsome, and they have supported me since then. Been ardent supporters. They saw this book. They let me design the book. They let me really develop the book, and they have been such pros and troopers for me that it's great to have an independent publisher who will leverage that much skill and that much passion behind it. So thank you, Hen Press. Thanks to my family. This book was made in an attempt to start a larger family, and many of the poems chronicle the trouble of trying to do that, as Tisa pointed out. But I want to point out specifically people in the audience today. My wife Nicole, who went through hell. My mother-in-law, who went through hell she shouldn't have had to go through. My brother-in-law, who is, even from San Diego, there. My brother, who I just saw ghosting over there. who put in an order for a niece and a nephew and got it, right? So I appreciated that extra, because I'm not tall enough, God, when necessarily see me in Dallas, it's hard to turn down. My aunt, my uncle, just family. I'm seeing family who are here, cousins, everybody. Noel, thank you. And Skylight, again, thank you. This is where I premiered my second book, and I'm honored to do it again here. Friends, I'm going to stop. But please know that anything that anybody ever said to me that was encouraging when we were going through the difficulty of trying to have kids, that made this book possible. Okay, so, that's like a downer. It's kind of emotional downer. So I was told a long time ago that it's wise to begin a poetry reading or an individual poem with kind of joy or whimsy, right? Something uplifting. So, The Miscarriage, a list of 10 euphemisms for use in stage banter. Foxes looted the coop. God marked your copy. Cherries damned the flume. A kite fell in April. An apple burst the nest. Some Seminoles fled the field. Our wagon crashed, but we just saw the heart in the furrow. 4 alarm beat 3 days ago, and next the doll factory. Roses, weak as Father's Day, choke the cabbage. Red ants blitz the sugar bowl. The miscarriage, a magic trick. 1, stash scarlet silks in a lady's skirt. 2, plant her among the crowd. 3, call your shill to the dais. 4, lay her on your table. 5, conceal her with your bedsheet. 6, distract the crowd with patter. 7, apply a slight between her thighs. 8, take hold the silk's loose corner. 9, pull till it pools on the floor. Presto! The Miscarriage, a silent film to be shot without color. Title card, peril at Red River. Exterior, Red River, 4:30 a.m. Medium shot, baby in hamper rushing down river to edge of frame. Effects note, for baby, use sheets, wadded. Tracking shot, car racing the riverside. Interior, car, a wife and husband. Husband driving after baby. Wife cradling her belly. Title card, will they make it in time? Exterior, 4:35 a.m. Long shot, waterfall, riverbed. The Miscarriage, a minstrel show. Husband, pour your peoples of their sanguines intermediately, says your beloved. I hears not a cock crow, but a crow crow. Morning broke not water, but tomato. Listen, my dogling, and I tell you not to consummate melon in our
consummate. Present tense of consummate. But smudgy poo. If and I mix to eat sweet Georgia ham, anatomically speaking, mustn't my palate get a piece? Look at here, smoke screen. Ain't shit atomic about this watermelon juice spilled betwixt and between my legs. Sheets the glory pinked. Then I ain't red-handed, you're red-gammed. Tain't melanade if I ain't ate any. Sides, I ain't seed no seeds by your fanny. Hog slop and hog slop head. They making Georgia ham seedless now. The stain's the thing. Seedless? Then alas, I guess I's undoed. Yes, undoed. And she done, so I's undid. They cakewalk to the wings, enter bones. The miscarriage, a bar joke. Two guys walk into a bar. First guy says, yo, guy, why are you so down? Second guy replies, my wife just had a miscarriage. First guy says, I know exactly how you feel. I just had my girl get an abortion. The miscarriage, a poetic form. Internal rhyme, perfect. 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 Volta. Internal rhyme, slant. Internal rhyme, slant. Internal rhyme, slant. Volta. Internal rhyme, broken. Thanks. Yeah, you know, if you watch cable, you know, you'll see a lot of like Bill Cosby, like the Cosby Show, like reruns, and it's great because I remember watching that show, and Bill Cosby was mean as hell, right? I mean, if you remember like the shows that the stand-up that he built that show on, like Bill Cosby himself, like there's all this talk about like beating children, like beating them, and it's like, and then later on he's like, oh, you know, but you know that, like, you know, when them kids come down those stairs and they're like this, you know, like that, for some, like Bill, like Cliff and Claire had like worn them out. And the other thing that was interesting about that show is how often the episodes ended with them in bed. So, you know, that was like a body house. I learned so much about parenting from Bill Cosby. Raise. To be daddies, to ascend steady into cruelty. A tabby bats a wren upwise. Now see my children fall. They rise? That's fine. No cries? Great. But their arms like chick beaks call to me. My arms give no reply. Fine. A plea strikes some hollowed place. Darlings, call that flight. Next one, there's a bunch of poems that weave in and out of the book called Father of the Year or Fathers of the Year. And basically these are the people and entities whom I look to model my own parenting after as a father. These are the models that I have. And so this first one there's several, so it's Fathers of the Year. So there's Abraham, Yahweh, and Joseph. Now Abraham, right, was, you know, Father Abraham, Abraham, right, from the Bible. So Abraham was this great father who worshiped a great father, God, right? And God one day said to Abraham, hey, Abraham, do you love me? And Abraham's like, yeah, I love you. And God's like, nah, do you love me? And he was like, yeah, God, you're being weird. Yeah, I love you. And it's like, yeah, I love you. It's like, okay, you know what you can give me for Father's Day? And Abraham's like, whatever you want, man, totally. And God's like, kill your son for me. And Abraham's like, okay. And so he goes up, you know, when the son got the knife, he's about to bring it down. And then this angel of the Lord comes down and says, wait, Abraham, you sick bastard. You were going to do it. You were totally going to do it, weren't you? You're so sick. No, God doesn't want you to do that. It's okay. Right? And so Abraham's like, oh, okay, yeah, right? So that's Abraham. And then there's, of course, Yahweh, who's the guy who set all that up, but also sent his son for the rest of us to be saved. So, you know, so number one son, sacrifice, but the rest of us. So that's Father of the Year. And then there's Joseph. And you might think that because I've been in the Bible with this, that this is also a biblical Joseph. But no. This is Joseph Jackson, the father of the Jackson musical dynasty. So yes, Abraham, Yahweh, Joseph, Fathers of the Year. Amen. Amen. I think I love you. Amen. Show me what you can do. Daddy on the almighty mountain with daddy's heat across his neck, sharp stone at his son as the sun's shanks go down, go his 1, 2, 3, stop, you Daddy, the almighty mountain, neck full of sharp heat. His son, you better save it. Shanked on the mount, mounted across goes son, son, son. The stone gone, never could say goodbye. No, no, no. Daddy, the stone full of sharp at his sons. 1, 2, 3, you better, no, no, no. Almighty neck shake. 1, 2, 3, you better, no, no, no. Cross down to the sun. 1, 2, 3, you better, no, no, no. Go down its sharp mountain. 1, 2, 3, you better, no, no, no. Not stop. I'll be there. All right. So another funny story. I have a reading tomorrow in New York. I'll be flying out of here at 11:30 tonight. So I'll have like these bi-coastal, there's like some Kanye level promotional activity. In less than 24 hours, I will appear live, coast to coast, doing these readings. But I promise you, Los Angeles, I'm giving you everything I have. So if I leave here sounding like Tom Waits, that's what they get in New York. Because I'm giving it to you. And I love you. And the more you hear from this book, the more you'll learn to love my love. Because that's what this book is about. It's all about love. So, the next poem is about the love that children have for their toys. No, that's not quite. It's about the love that many of us have for cultural illiteracy. This poem is called Thank You, But Please Don't Buy My Children Clothes with Monkeys on Them. Now, this poem, some of you might have heard about the event that sparked this poem, right? There's a room full of swarthy people and allies of swarthy people. And, so you might have got an email some time ago that said, yo, we need to boycott Costco because they have this jacked up doll, right? They have a jacked up doll. And the jacked up doll is this. Okay, so you have these dolls. You have a doll, a little human doll, and that doll has a little animal doll. Right? And the entire complex of doll with the doll is named after the animal doll. So like if you have a blonde doll, let's say a blonde doll with a panda doll, then the blonde doll with the panda doll and the whole doll is called Pretty Panda. Right? If you have a brunette doll, right, say she has a teddy bear, then that doll is Pretty Teddy or Tender Teddy or something like that. And then so the whole doll is called Tender Teddy. And if you have a black doll and she has a monkey, then the whole doll is called Lil Monkey.
Why y'all laughing?
Y'all lucky my kids is here, so I'm only cussing during the poems because of their integrity. I'm not compromising my artistic integrity. Quote, Costco pulls Lil Monkey dolls off shelves. End quote. Thank you, but please don't buy my children clothes with monkeys on them. See what it do, and do what it do. Say what it is. If evil, hear what it do. Swing some into history's way. If evil hear, who hear it? A tree fall in the rigged jungle. Nobody here but us. What? If evil hear, who see it? What? Some see what some get the get of the once got. How much that little monkey in the window? If evil hear, who speak it? Do retail the retailing of nobody here but us. History has a way it do what it do. If throughout history black baby bottoms as blue as a baboon's nose. If throughout history black babies get blue black bottoms till the stump of their circumcised tails black over, and a circumcised black baby tail must not be discarded but kept for later for show. Thus, a circumcised black baby's tail was often for showed after removal in a jar or dried on the mantle below the buck bust. IF, sing a blues of black bottom, sing a blues of blue black bottom. If throughout history has a way with bluing black babies, or say history has a history of blacking black babies, or if history has a history of blue blacking black babies blue, e.g. peekaboo black babies a black mama gut bucket blues, i.e. you want to see Ma's black baby? And jigaboo black babies is history blacking over a blue-black hide. Thus, picayune black babies is history's way of knowing black babies is discarded to hide its history of blacking black babies blue as a baboon's nose tails. QED, pitiful black at the bottom babies. Precious little monkeys, curly cute tails droop queries on my babies. Curious little monkeys, and the uninformed overseer, who can tame them? Unruly little monkeys, no ways tired with new IDs and bipedal reveries. Musing little monkeys is pointless. Stick them with sticks, big leaps from their green tenements. Angry little monkeys, go chew on the saw of fruit, falls when ripe. Wait, hungry little monkeys, smiling little monkeys, climbing pajamas, my daughter's onesie, leering little monkeys, pincer the cribs, bent senators hissing in little monkey beards, little monkeys' hands all murder sop, put your hands up, little monkey shot, love for little monkeys, humans over little monkeys, punk, little monkeys over babies, bucking on the lamps, messing the lights, smearing little monkey shadows on my son's face, little monkeys gibber from the nursery, porch, the street, little monkeys, aha, freeze, little monkeys found my baby's clothes like blood, like shit, little monkeys, no, little monkeys, thank you, no, little monkeys, no, thanks, no, ah! Black babies is born fit with Looney Tune gloves over fists of bristling opposable thumbs. Black babies in monkey suits as nude as birds, save onion skin sheets over their genital bunches. Black babies' genitals learn to sign quickly. They do what they see and they don't stop no show. Black babies is last seen as blacker than not, and they can't stay getting away with it. Black babies is found up in trees and on sidewalks. We fetch them with dustbins and mops when it's done. Thank you. But please don't buy monkey clothes. So let me do a couple of other things. I want to do this poem, which is good because you're here for a poetry reading. This is a poem called Father-to-be Takes Himself for a Walk. And let me tell you guys a funny story, a true one. So the night before you are going to leave high school successfully, having completed everything you need for your diploma, you know what the next day is going to be. That's going to be graduation. For those of us who are legally allowed to get married and choose to do so, the night before you go to get married, what might you have? A bachelor party or a bachelorette party, right? So you have these things, right? But what you come to learn in our culture, because typically, birth is something that we don't predict the precise time of with any real accuracy. We don't have it's your last night as not being a parent party night. There's no thing that you get to do because that entire party would have to be held in the hospital parking lot, and that's not a nice place for a party. However, in our case, we knew the precise moment that our children would be born because they were going to cut them out of my wife, and we knew when that was scheduled. So we were at the hospital at Good Samaritan, so right near downtown LA, right in downtown LA, really. And the night before this happened, I tried to figure out what I was going to do to commemorate this. So I decided to walk down 6th toward MacArthur Park at about 7 o'clock. And I thought it would be a really good idea to walk down 6th toward MacArthur Park and mad dog people as I walk down there. To just kind of people are minding their own business at food for less buy. I'm just going to walk along. So fortunately, the people of MacArthur Park were like, there is a crazy Negro wandering our streets. This is clearly a trap. We are going to let him just walk by with whatever is bothering him. He must be about to have twins. And so following this failed attempt to either get in jail or killed or something, now that right there is the most post-black moment you will ever experience in your life. And as a skeptic of post-blackness, I feel that my intellectual integrity requires that I say that it happened, because I was a black man trying to get arrested or hurt, and I couldn't. Thank you, Obama. Thank you. You did it with your magic swarthiness. But after this failed attempt, I decided to think the better of things, and so I went to eat after this, because I couldn't, get the hunger beaten out of me. So I went to Fred 62, got in the car, drove up there after a long conversation with a friend of mine named Jason, who also trains me in martial arts, and explained to me why I was freaking out. This poem is called Father-to-be Takes Himself for a Walk. Out! The final hospital stay's a leash, so I'm bound to the bed and lay a week in. Weak to the beep of her flash flood blood run these mudslide years of red. I scratch at the window like some mutt the night before strangers dump the trash. Ends a shotgun aimed at us. Come dawn, her doctor pulls her trigger, bucks me into father. My stomach guards my wilting cock, snarls at trespassing clocks, and gnaws her steepled fingers. I leave her there for food. Beg! A fucked week sick with Korean burritos. Half-breed Kamita mukdaing my withering wallet. That food truck chuckles to the hospital's lot. His parking stubs stay at Daily Max. Damn, I am tonight too mutt for kalbi, kimchi, tomatillo. I'm full of what I don't comprendo. The dust's a bloody chuck patty on the greasy griddle sky. The stars, they sizzle. They pop. Heal! Walking West 6, my shadow shies from MacArthur Park's heat and shivs. Not me, though. These new mongrel senses are open wounds among lemon-tinted storefronts. But what's it to know when today come yesterday, I'll no longer not be a father? So long as tomorrow is tomorrow, and yesterday's yesterday stays nearer to the bloody years of not knowing, yet I'm not long for what I've been so long, and so near to what I'm going to. Tonight I am just a man and not quite a father, so nearly not just a man, and so... Babbling shop glass of bright ads, my reflection halved, all I can't read as I pass. Down! My eyes sick the bustling food for less, my pissant shadow rank as a cur's piss. I pack no pistol, speak no Spanish. What future? Unborn name sud my black ass lips, my heart a red dick out my head's hairy sheath, my own dick abuts my haunch. Somebody put me down! Down a side street, overgrown terraces calamitous with foreignness. Swearing the curb cars are explosions fixing to be cut out themselves. I'm down the street's dividing line, my nose busted with cumin, menudos, cinnamon. Speak! I die at dawn, so I set to prowl the mongrel hours, God's silvered eye, hounds, foods, and children. Stupid, childish man's heart pump, no Kool-Aid, though. I bark at near dark, who wants some? I could upchuck my lupine alarm at sudden blood. But with sun comes soon some new tether to hitch my throat and stifle now knee, even now, pants now, shook and up now, stand now, dawn now, these dull teeth. Say the names, boys, speak! And the names are Elijah and Kalila. Those are the names of my children who are here tonight. That's for you, y'all. Y'all got to clap for. They're very tired. I told them, thank you so much. I told them that Daddy was going to yell, but I'm not really angry. I'm pretending.
You ain't fooled them.
I know. I'm saying, man. They just like, dang, they traumatized. But this is life with me, children. I'm sorry. But I love you. So I'm going to do some poems I wrote for both of them. There you go. See, Uncle Dallas and Uncle everybody's arranging things, fixing it for me. It's great. So I'm going to read a couple of poems that are directly written for them. How many people here were in LA? When was this? This was like 2011, November of 2011. We had those windstorms. Y'all remember? Yeah, like these windstorms just came and knocked everything like crazy for a few days. Knocked everything asunder, I should say. I should not throw around the term crazy. That's not appropriate. Knocked everything asunder. I'm serious. I'm going to say a lot of stuff that I'm not serious about tonight. I'm serious about that. I shouldn't throw that around. Knocked everything asunder.
my kid, Elijah, woke up first one of these mornings. It was very cold. Not even just cold for California. It was like in the 40s, and we didn't have power, so it was very cold in the house. And we were changing him. And in the middle of changing him, he made this sound. And that sound is what this poem is about. Poem about. Yeah, this time the poem is about that sound in some ways. And this poem used to be called That Moan, but I fixed it because it wasn't working. And now it's called Heirloom for Elijah. The windstorm strewn shit mars the yard, where 2 dawns pitched in the blackout since. My boy's diaper groins wet as blueberries, and winter's crowfoot scritches there. No, I did what I should in changing him, but was it black blue quills or I goaded that welted moan strung up his fretted throat? The hand-me-down sound's not mine, but anti-juk juju blues me to his patterol, parchment, manacle. The boy's eyeballs clench, then turn me loose, glare toward our sliding door. Scourged air, wrenched trees, the turd dark dirt, and roots upturned asunder. And this poem is for Kalila. And Kalila, it's funny that both of these poems are written for, sounds from them. Poet. But we were teaching our children about their anatomies. And, we bathe them together because we're cheap and impatient. And so we were bathing them. And so, they're learning about each other. And, Kalila's like, what's that? And well, that's Elijah's penis. And she looks at herself and she says, my penis. Now, I teach at Cal Arts. So, I'm like, I can't, you're like, well, no, you don't have a penis. No, I can't, no lack, right? So, we have to figure out how we're going to maneuver around that difference that's there. And all of our efforts were largely spent because for whatever reason, Kalila was much more interested in having a penis. And so one day at the playground, she called out, the playground, we have a little playground in the complex where we live. She called out to, some of the other kids and parents while my wife, her mother was there with her and said, I have a penis. Mama has a penis. And like Joe Jackson, I'm going to ride my kids into fame. This poem is called I Have a Penis, Mama Has a Penis. A song in me of my daughter's wayward penis, twin to her brother's stolid one, gone on its hero's wanderings, audacious penis. It's nautical, my daughter's penis, a craft of sail, propeller, or oar, madcap ship of the frothy Bath Sea penis. It's thonic, my daughter's penis, unseen mine car of the dank Dior, in the brimstone stony shit caves deep penis, twin to her brother's staid one, her sly penis sways like rye down by a briar patch, brown cackling rabbit penis. My penis, she shouts, grinning at her denim, the wee short's waistband's pink bone nodding, a nothing finger. Remember your penis. Like a balding friar, I murmur, vagina, the V's open scissor, the A's snip shut, but her impossible hydra penis sprouts anew 2 at a time, rockets to the front like fighter jets, Chief Master Sergeant penis. I have a penis, Mama has a penis, she hollers, how her penis colonizes and occupies, conqueror, liberator penis. I teeter at her swelling ranks and slip upon the blood-slick weight, panting, vagina, the word read with cockamamie menace, my tongue red as a teacher's pen is. So I'm going to go about 5 to 10 minutes more, and then I'm going to stop. And I have gifts for you all, because, as I've said to you already, I love you.
All right, so all right, so I think I have time for about 3 more. We'll do that. 3 more. A love poem. A love poem. A love poem. Because making love is about love. Here we go. This is a poem called Out My Hands, and it's a modern love poem because nothing could make having children better than figuring out ways to completely separate the bodies that make the children from each other and doing it like in a completely abstracted cybernetic kind of method. So this is a modern love poem called Out My Hands. Just because I'm jerking off don't mean I don't want babies. The doctor's coat is panty white. Here, nothing's clean as panties. I don't know where she takes my wife, but surely there's a mattress. I'm hunkered in the men's room watching someone get sucked off, wishing someone bend another over something. This spit of mine's too filthy and could kill these kids to be, so I stroke bone dry to fill the sterile cup. It's days before the smut flakes off my cock, but so what? When a curtain and a surgeon saw a furrow into N, there'd been 7 months of hurling for her waist to turn vagina. That's some woman you got there, boy. Love them. Love, right? Now, when. See, you got that? It's okay. It is okay. These jokes are on time release capsule. You know, it's like you should not grasp ignorance right away. It's like it should take you a moment to be like, what is happening? Oh, he's being ignorant. That's what you should do. So I'm going to do a couple more poems, and again, thank you all very much. And the last 2 poems I'm going to do are both about, at some level, involve television. When my wife was sick, when my wife Nicole was sick, you'll have to forgive me. I haven't been saying her name not because I think of her as some kind of an object, but like I'm trying to respect her privacy. But half of you always know her, Nicole. When she was sick, she had hyperemesis. And hyperemesis is essentially like morning sickness on steroids. She could not eat, of course, but she couldn't even drink water without vomiting. So she was placed on an IV so that she could get nutrition throughout the course of her pregnancy. And it struck me at one point in this that when you read in oftentimes, for first worlders history books, right? And you read, but she died in childbirth or died while pregnant. You begin to realize how close we are to that. She couldn't eat at a time when her body needed nutrition to grow 2 more bodies. The kids were fine at first, and doctors will tell you this. The kids are fine because they essentially eat the mom. And if there's they'll be fine until there's no more matter to consume. Nicole loves home improvement shows, and she watched these shows while she was on bed rest for the bulk of her pregnancy. And then she watched another show called Deliver Me, which you'll hear about in a minute. Anyway, this is home shows. And I don't think I've ever read this out anywhere. So this is a world premiere. Home shows. Belly swollen, overrun. N regards those crumbling homes. Each TV dawn, their owners groan, "We didn't know." Then man hammers holes in cellar walls, while woman boots loose windowsills. Who did this wiring? Tuts hard hat's yellow shell at a nest of knots and copper coils. This plumbing's a mess of running rust. All's awry behind the paint-smooth face. And pukes blank juices, flushes her tubes with saline, fading, waking as each ruin tumbles into another. I want to see the end, she mumbles, half in dream, when pickups gallop across the sod.
Schools gleam in gutted rooms. Expectant houses beam like new. And finally, I'm going to end with a poem called In the End They Were Born on TV. Before I do that, I'm going to plug another event. Well, first of all, do come back to Skylight to see their other readers. Do come back to Skylight to buy all of your books. Come back here. If you're not already a regular, come back and get a chance to look at the books after you've stopped fawning over mine, because it's very distracting, because this book is awesome. After you've stopped doing that, be kind to the other books who don't feel like they're as loved as my awesome book, which you all be fawning over. Make sure you look at some of the other books. You'll see, gosh, they have fantastic books that are almost as awesome as this book. But buy some out of pity. But make it feel real for them by buying my awesome book, which shows that they're like, oh my gosh, I'm in that class. Next week on Thursday at 8:30 at Red Cat, Fred Moten, who many people in this room are familiar with, poet, theorist, insane madman of knowledge, and I don't mean that euphemistically, will be here presenting on The Sustain, the Black Sustain, and I will be moderating that presentation. So again, 8:30 at Red Cat next week. Please get down there if you can. I'm going to plug Yona Harvey as well. Yona Harvey, who is, there are two people who basically encouraged me to write poetry in college. One is Nicole. She's sitting right there. The other, Nicole, there, she's back. She was taking the kids over there. The other is a poet named Yona Harvey, who I've known since 1992, and met through a gentleman there named Kemp Powers, who I've also known for that long, who's also, at first was encouraging me to write comic books, and then later said, okay, well, let's talk about poetry a little bit. We had a long debate about Spike Lee poetry and all that kind of stuff about 10 years or so ago. But Yona just was awarded the Kate Tufts Discovery Award for her first book of poetry, which came out about a year and a half ago, 2 years ago? Yeah, a year and a half ago. It's called Hemming the Water, and she will be in Pomona, in Claremont, on April 10th. So look for that. Come see that reading, because also Arthur Michael Weaver will be there. He won the Kingsley Tufts, which is like $100,000. Poets ain't poor. Except when they're not winning Lifetime Achievement Awards. All right, so this next poem is called In the End They Were Born on TV. And there's a funny story about this that will kind of come through the poem. But anyway, Nicole and I were a difficult case in terms of we were considered as having an at-risk pregnancy. So you see, in the language of at-risk schools, our children were already branded as at-risk. And we were at a hospital in Glendale, and one day I got a call from the doctor who said, yeah, I'm giving up your case. It's too hard. You're going to be working with some doctors at Good Samaritan. And I was like, huh? What? And they said, no, we've already checked it out with your insurance. It's fine. Thank you for playing. Bye. Okay. So I called this new doctor, and I said, yes, we can fit you in about 2 weeks. And I said, my wife has been going in to see her doctor twice a week. I'm not waiting 2 weeks. We didn't ask to be shifted. You need to see us now. And so we were able to go in later that week. And the doctors there were great. It was really great. We found something out, though, because Nicole was looking at the doctor, that Allison Hill, and she said, she looks familiar to me for some reason. And later we figured it out when they sent us a sheet saying, would you like to be on Deliver Me? And she recognized her right then. Dr. Allison Hill is one of the 3 doctors on this reality TV show called Deliver Me, which at first, when it first started, chronicled the lives of these 3 doctors. All 3 of them went to school together, and they were all at Good Samaritan. And, my sister, my best friend, my rock is like the theme song. And I was like, how can they juggle their lives as young doctors with families while they're trying to bring other families in life? It was this really, this thing. But then as that story kind of got like, hey, well, let's pay attention to the people who they're treating, they began to get more involved in following the stories of the people whose pregnancies they were treating. And apparently, I mean, I guess an infertile black couple is like finding a unicorn. So they wanted us to be on the show, right? And Nicole is totally like anti-Hollywood. But she was like, you know, I watched this show while I was sick, and it helped. I've been sick, and I've watched the show. And so we said, okay, we do it. And it was a weird experience. My mother-in-law was there for one of the tapings where they came to our house. She was there for all of it, actually. Every time we were at doctor's office, she was there. I might be traveling, so she was always there, and Nicole was always there. As far as I know, the episode never officially aired because it went from Discovery Health to the Oprah network, the OWN network, and they haven't programmed it regularly, so I don't know when it is there. But we have DVDs and proof, so I didn't just like make this up to have a cool angle on a poem. In the end, they were born on TV. 1, good reality TV. A couple wanted to be, and TV wants the couple to be on TV. The people from TV believe we'd be good TV because we had wanted to be and failed and now might. To be good at TV, make like TV isn't. Make like living in our living room and the TV crew isn't there and the boom isn't there, saving the woman from TV's voice that won't be there, saying, tell us about the miscarriage in the teeming evening and some dog barking at all we cannot hear. 2, would you be willing to be on TV? People in their house on TV are ghosts haunting a house haunting houses. Pregnant women in their houses on TV are haunted houses haunting a house haunting houses. Our living room a set for us ghosts to tell ghost stories on us. Would you be to be on TV? To be the we weren't to be and the we're to be on TV? The pregnant woman agrees to being a haunted house, haunting flickering houses. Yes, okay, yeah, yes. 3, forms. In the waiting room for the doctor to TV, the pregnant woman's insides out on a little TV on TV. Filling a form on TV is to flesh into words on a sheet that fills up with you, yes, yes, and turn to the receptionist, only to turn back to a ghost waiting to be officially haunted, yes. A magazine riffles itself on TV, loud pages, a startled parrot calls your name, then a lighting on magazines. And waddle the hall, you to be and the TV crew that isn't going to be there on TV, and the doctor and you are looking at her little TV on TV. The doctor says, see, there they are. Ghosts sound themselves out to flicker on the little TV. There they go. To the pregnant woman scared to be such good TV. 4, cut. To one more time from the top yourself is to ta-da, breathing. The curtain drops, plush guillotine. Would you talk about the miscarriage one more time? Ta-da! 5, all the little people out there. After she was a haunted house, before we haunted us for TV, then the pregnant woman watched TV, vomit on her teeth like sequins. Our TV stayed pregnant with the people from TV's TV show, pregnant with haunted houses wailing, then smiling up into our living room. It helps, she said of the people from TV's TV show. So yes, then to TV to help. She said the haunted houses in the living rooms, we said yes to help those thousands of wailing houses. 6, only with some effort. The best ghosts trust they're not dead. No, the best ghosts don't know how not to be alive, like being good at TV. Inside the pregnant woman, the to-be of the family who failed but now might be to be were good TV. But the we who failed butterfingered and stuttered, held our hands like we just got them. We've been trying so long, we said. We can't believe it. This is finally happening. 7, scheduled C-section reality TV. And they're born made of meats on TV. The doctor voilas them from the woman's red guts into little red punch bowls. The new mother says, I want to see them, my babies. The doctor shoves the new mother's guts back, express lane grosser. The demure camera good TVs up 2 meat babies into wailing ghosts. Off the new mother's blood like spilled nail polish. 8, ghost stories. Did you know about dogs and ghosts? One barking at one's nothing. 9, the miscarriage. Exposition for reality TV. It helps to be on TV. We want to be good on TV. Okay, yes, to help we want to be good TV. Yeah, yes, please tell me about the miscarriage. The woman from TV wants good TV and something specific that gets you right in the tear to the eye, to milk the pregnant woman's breast heavy with
Good. We talk about the dead one on TV. It was horrible. The blood was everywhere that morning. A dog barks. One more time from the top. It was horrible. The blood was everywhere. Dog on dog goes on to take 3, and it was horrible. Boom, and the boom goes the barking, and bad TV, bad TV. We want to help being good TV. Please tell me about the miscarriage. One more time. It was after the C-section was more like the doctor shoving the new mother's guts in. Jilted lover packing a duffel. 11. Talking about the miscarriage behind the scenes. Please tell me about the miscarriage. 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 The 5th take, and it was horrible. That's all. They call them takes. Again, we're robbed. 12. Did it help watching a house fill with haunting every room, or help haunting the house? Watch! Here we are, an expanding family of ghosts. We aren't here, but yes. Okay, yeah, yes. Did it help? And even now, yes. No, they were born on TV. But before it was horrible, wasn't it? Must have been. Please tell me about the miscarriage, for I don't know how not to be telling. And the dog growls still and still and still. Thank you.
You've been listening to the Skylight Books author reading series. Don't forget that you can check out this and all of our other great podcasts at www.skylightbooks.com. Today's music was provided by Fragile Gang. You can check them out at MySpace, Facebook, and the iTunes Music Store. Thanks for stopping by, and we hope to see you soon.